But man, it's good to see everybody. I had an opportunity of coaching the second tournament. I'm in North Carolina coaching the second tournament. This past weekend, we was in Goldsboro, North Carolina. I coached a 12 and under team. Shouts out to my boys, Dirtbags East. We finished runner up. The wind didn't blow our way in the championship game. But who else is playing out here, man? Who else is playing? Did anybody else get a chance to play? How'd you guys do? Did you come out as champions? Did you run the score up? Did you run rule anybody? Give a shout out to your team. I want you to give a shout out to your team, just in case somebody is tuning in right now. They'll be able to say like, yeah, that's right. That's my squad. That's my squad. Who hit a home run this weekend though? Let's do a little home run roll call. If you hit a home run this weekend, I want you to put the bomb emoji. If you hit a home run this weekend, put the bomb emoji. So it'll just let everybody know. If you hit two, put two bomb emojis. I don't care if it was a wall scraper. If it went over the fence, it was a bomb today. I'm just letting you know. Black Sox, dub season. I see you. My boy Ashton said he dropped the bomb. Byron said he dropped the bomb. What's good? Just started practice for the Northwest Travelers. Okay. Byron, now look, you done said you dropped one bomb. Now you coming back and you remember you dropped two bombs. Easton said he dropped the bomb. 7 home runs. I got you. Okay. Well, look, guys, I wanted to come on here like I do every Monday. I just want to always share with you a little bit. Then we have a big Q&A at the end. I already see I got a couple questions down there. I already got some requests to go live with me because you know how I gets it in. But I wanted to talk to you guys real quick about your attitudes. Okay, your attitudes. And I want to talk to you again about how important it is with getting in shape as quick as possible. I'm going to start with attitudes. We need to learn, and I say we as if I'm still a player, because I had to learn myself. I want you guys to understand how important it is for your attitudes, because your attitudes really do help or hurt your abilities. I want you to learn how to play this game with, energy, but you need to learn how to play at a level that you are staying focused at. There's some people that can play at a high level of energy and remain focused. And then there's some people that play at a high level of energy and they all over the place and they ain't focused. You know what I'm saying? They missing stuff because they just too hype. You feel what I'm saying? I want you guys to know that when something bad happens for you on the baseball field, you're going to have to learn how to have a short-term memory for failure. You're going to have to learn how to have a short-term memory for failure. So many times you're doing good, but we all know that person on the team. It could be you, but you could know somebody that when it's going good, they're great. But when they do something wrong, when they make an error, their whole weekend is pretty much done. The rest of the game is bad on both sides of the ball. We need to learn how to keep ourselves in check when it comes to our attitudes. Because you control that, nobody else. Your attitudes are very, very important. Have you noticed that it's very rare that when you have a bad attitude and just pissed off and don't care anymore, you don't typically play better? You ever notice that? But that was a choice that you made to say that I just don't care anymore. And when you say things like I don't care anymore or I'm over it, I'm done, that's you looking at yourself saying that you're quitting on yourself. You need to take out of your vocabulary that you don't care because you do care. That's why you're emotional. That's why you got your lip out, because you do care. You know what I'm saying? You do care. So let's just make sure we hold our attitudes in check. Whenever you get upset, give yourself about 30 seconds to yourself. I know I was a big time advocate of that. When I got out, I'm boiling, right? I get in the dugout. I sit by myself for about 30 seconds. And then after the 30 seconds, you owe it to your team, your teammates, your coaching staff to get your butt up and cheer on the next person. Anytime I see a player that stays down throughout the entire game, the first word that comes to my mouth and to my mind, that kid is selfish. That kid is selfish. And I see some hearts coming up because I know I'm talking about something good. And every time I see the hearts, they like, man, he preaching. I always preach on here. Next time I'm going to wear a robe. I'll be preaching on here. But you don't want to be labeled as a selfish ball player. Who wants to play with a teammate that only gets excited when he's doing well, but when he's not doing well, he's the worst teammate possible? It's tough to win a championship. It's tough to win games when you have people on the team with bad attitudes. So if you're a person on here that has the possibilities of having a bad attitude, you need to check it, because your batting average will suffer because of your bad attitude. When you have a bad attitude in practice, you don't feel like giving it 100% anymore because things aren't going your way. Look at my boy. My boy said facts. I'm talking facts right here. The brick wall 8 said yep. What you need to realize is when you have bad attitudes, you are putting a chokehold on your abilities. Learn how to let it go and move on. One day you're going to try to fight for a scholarship, but if you're continuing to have a bad attitude when you get old enough to fight for a scholarship, your attitude could possibly cost you a scholarship. Your attitude could possibly cost your team a championship. And your attitude could possibly cost you your career. It'll be over for you. After high school, it'll be over because you never learned how to check your attitude. Now, let's look at it from a flip side right here. Let's look at it from a flip side. My boy Evan on here talking about he's spitting. That's what I'm talking about. We out here, you know what I'm saying? Freestyling off the top of the dome. But let me flip it around right quick so I can let you know something. When I see a kid that has a bad attitude, I don't immediately say he's a bad apple. I want to talk to him because whenever you can learn how to channel that energy, that negative energy, and turn it into something positive, you got a beast. That kid is a beast. He's emotional. He wants it bad. And he does not like failing. I can live with that. But once you're taught that you need to learn how to let it go quickly, let it hit, burn a little bit, but let it go and let me use that motivation for fuel for my success towards my success. If you learn how to let it go quickly, I go after those players. I love the emotional players. I love the ones that are gritty and grinding out there, leaving it all out on the field, hustling. And when they get out there, I like it because they want it. They're showing that passion. They're showing that heart. However, if you show that passion and show that heart and you throw a helmet, that's unacceptable. Let me go on I'm going on a rant right now for attitudes. It's unacceptable. Thank you for the hearts, man. I don't care how passionate and how much you say you love the game and how hard you play the game. What is unacceptable is tossing your freaking helmet. Throwing your helmet is unacceptable. As a scout, when I go and watch you play and you throw a helmet in the dugout or throw a helmet somewhere, I'm done. Because I just saw everything I needed to see in your makeup from you tossing that helmet. Like it was the helmet's fault that you got out. You know what else is unacceptable? It's when your teammates do something great and hit a home run or knock in a winning run or bunt the guy over or do something good for the team and everybody else is celebrating because you are not having the game you would like to have. I'm preaching. You don't want to, you kind of give them a half celebration. Oh, good job, dude. Way to go, man. Yeah, good. Or you probably don't even celebrate with them because you're in your feelings. Talking to somebody in here today. I'm saving somebody. That's unacceptable. So if you're a person on here today and I've called out some things that you're like, oh, shoot, he talking about me. I need to get myself together. I need to put myself in check. Because let me tell you this right here. If you think that you're going pro with a bad attitude, pick another sport because your attitude in baseball sucks. Then the reason why you be like, well, that's not true because if you throw 98, he's still going to go pro. But let me tell you something. It's going to be a rough road because everybody's going to label you as the 98 miles an hour hurler with a bad attitude. And there's going to be teams that pass up on you because you got a bad attitude because they know how are we supposed to win the championship if we're going to sign a player that we've learned that has a bad attitude. No team chemistry. He's only thinking about himself, his stats. Bad attitude. Check it at the door. All right? That energy that you have, that energy that you get whenever you have a bad attitude, as far as like you're being upset about the outcome, learn how to bring that energy to practice so that can be fuel to run an extra lap. So that can be fuel to lift more, to get out there and work harder in the heat when everybody else is saying it's too hot to work out. That burning desire on the inside of you from struggling on the weekend, you should have that same energy when it comes to your practice. See them hearts going up. I see them hearts going up. Guys, if you have questions, make sure you put it down there at the bottom. Touch the question mark. Submit your question there. I'm going to start to go to Q&A here shortly. My boy Evan in here holding it down. Big E, Evan. That's my boy right there, man. I appreciate you saying I'm spitting facts. I just love the game, homie. Here's a tip for you right here. When you're at practice, you got to know going to practice is bigger than you. Going to practice should be, it should be something that you look forward to. Practice is where you're going to get rid of those mistakes. Practice is where you're going to go to build that swing. Practice is where you're going to go to learn how to not make those mistakes come game day. So at the end of the day, if that's where it's at, then that's where I need to be. Practice. I don't understand why people don't love to practice, don't like practicing. If you like practicing, then you're not good enough for me. I want the people around me that loves practice, that eats, sleeps the grind. You got to love it. Those should be the people you hang around. When you go to practice, you should keep into perspective on your mind while you're at practice, because when the going gets tough, you should always think about where you're going. Next year, I want to make varsity. Keep that on your mind at practice. That's going to help you out when it gets tough. I want to make an elite travel ball team. Keep that on mind when you're at home practicing. Because when the going gets tough or it gets hot, keep that on mind. Keep that on your mind. When you're at practice, I used to think about my family when I was at practice. Because I knew that baseball had the opportunity to be able to help my family out later on in life. So I grind for them. When I was at practice, it was a little bit different than everybody else. What are you thinking about at practice? Are you just there to just go through the motions and just say you did it? Just to, no. Change the way you think about practice. All right, the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about, it involves attitudes. But the last thing before we go into the Q&A is this right here. We need to learn how to lose, but lose as a champion. So many times, of course, it's easy to win. I got to teach you. I mean, sometimes you got to teach people how to win because, they too overly cocky with it and things like that. But you need to learn how to lose. Coaches need to be teaching their players how to lose as a champion. You can't win them all, but you need to learn how to lose as a champion. So when you lose, you know what to do. Let me give you some tips. When you lose a game, right? A championship game, like we lost the game this past weekend. We were runner-ups. Things didn't go our way. We didn't pitch it the way we needed to pitch it. We made a defensive error where the outfielder came in hard on the line drive and it went over his head. At the end of the game, I told my players, I was just like, yo, listen, I'd rather it happen now earlier in this season, whatever season we have remaining for the summer. I'd rather it happen, this type of loss to happen now, so you can go home and work on the things that let us down this championship game. I'd rather it happen now so we can grow from it and go from it. After every weekend, you should be able to reflect, whether you win or whether you lose, but especially after a loss, reflect on how you could have been better. That's how champions lose. When they lose, they reflect on how they could have been better. Most major leaguers, when they lose a game or they don't feel good, they might go into the cages after the game, shower up, go back out there and hit. Or they'll make up in their mind, it's okay. I'm going to show up bright and early tomorrow and I'm going to get some hitting in. That's how people lose as a champion. All right?